So as you know, the Avid right now has no motor on it. We're swapping that out from a 582 to a Rotax 670. So as the old adage goes, idle hands is avionics upgrade for the plane. So we're basically gonna be taking this and we're gonna be installing this Grand Rapids Sports EX EFIS. The goal behind that is going to be decluttering of the panel and also trying to go for some weight. This is the fiberglass panel that comes, or that was in my Avid, and what we're going to be doing is turning this into a carbon fiber panel, EFIS, and only a few other things and a couple switches on it to try to, lighten the load and bring it up into. So in order to do this, there's a few options. One was I was thinking about putting signboard on the back, filling in the holes, setting this whole thing flat to make a mold out of this. Speaking to some of the guys in the airport, what we thought would be a great idea was just take this, trace it out, design it at an MDF, build it up, and that'll be my carbon fiber mold. So that's how we're going to do this. There's a shop foreman over there making sure everything's getting done on task and safety first, right, Nova? So what I'm going to be doing is actually taking the panel, going to be tracing it out onto the MDF, cutting it out, shaping it, and this is 3/4 inch MDF. I'm going to actually go 2 layers of it, so that bring it up to 1.5 inches, and when the carbon fiber comes down it, just go to the edge and then trim it off to the 3/4, and that way I don't have to come down 3/4 and then put another radius. So I have a radius coming in, and then I don't have to put another radius coming out. Make sure it gets good adhesion to the mold. So I know my panel is 9 inches tall. So what I'm going to do is actually just cut a 9.5 inch strip out of this to make it a little bit more easier to work with. One down. One down. One more to go. So we have one done. Now we're just gonna do the same thing and stick them together, sand them smooth, and then we'll get to how we put the bevel. Okay, now that we have both pieces, we're going to sandwich them together, line them all up, sandwich them together, and then that's what we're gonna sand to make our radius the exact same. Okay, now that it's had ample time to dry, what we're going to do is remove all this, get to sanding. We're going to use, starting out with 120, moving to 320, and then we're going to come back maybe with a 600, just making sure it's nice and smooth. You don't need to see an hour of me sanding, so we'll skip that part, but I'm going to be sanding. Okay, now that we got our pieces sanded up pretty smooth, all lined up, we got to put the bevel in. So I'm going to be using a router for that, to try to concave this edge here. I finally got it dialed in to where I want it. Make sure you practice on all your scrap pieces before you actually do this on the real thing. All right. And that, so you put the nice sloping bevel into it. So now we just need to sand it up smooth and get it ready. Okay, now we got the top piece set. Now we need to make the base for it. So that's what we're doing here. Here's our base. And since I would like to reuse this mold later on in the future, I'm gonna put handles in it right there and there. So that's what we're doing now. And that is how we're gonna make our mold for our carbon fiber